the things I wanted to mention right away was the ZiP projections that came out, and some of it looks promising. It depends on if you look at it as somebody said earlier, half glass full, half glass empty. But Matthew, I'll start with you in terms of sort of some of the projections. Does anything really stand out or surprise you here among the names?
I guess Scope is projected to repeat the same war he put up last year. Now, does that include? I haven't seen his what his projected slash line would be, but like, does that would he have like the same offensive production? Would he have like the same defensive production with having like 27 outs above average again?
According to this, they have him projected at 16 home runs and 58 RBIs in terms of batting average. I was trying to look for it right now on that, but the batting average wise, they have him at 251. So actually, let's show that because that's actually really a better representation. It just seems like with these projections right here, I think for somebody like, for example, I think they're kind of underselling the value of somebody like Nick Monton or even Matt Verling too, because I think those guys are going to have more impact on the roster.
If I'm not mistaken, these projections go more off like past stats, like past major league stats, and not just minor league. Like, for example, like Verling took a lot more walks. I think it was Verling took a lot more walks in the minors, and that hasn't quite translated yet to the big league level. So naturally, these projections are not as high on him.
Yeah, and for you, Chris, I mean, I know this is all projections, and a lot of times fans get mad about the projection part of it, but overall, I thought that they seem to be as fair and kind of. And usually, if they're wrong, but it seemed pretty fair to me.
All these projections are meant to work kind of in the aggregate, right? Where you take the 10,000-foot view and they end up looking about right. When you drill down player by player, you can be wildly off one way or the other because it just, it doesn't know. It didn't know. There was no way to project that Albert Pujols was suddenly going to have a renaissance last year at the age of 49. But it had no way to know that Torkelson was going to completely, flame out there in the majors last year. I think he was one of their top ZiP projections heading into last season. It was probably 2.5 WAR or something like that. It's using statistics to kind of estimate everything. There are a couple things that stuck out to me. The first one is, and I think this is going to be a fascinating storyline throughout the season. Maybe is the fourth best player projected by ZiPS is Ryan Kreidler, which nobody seems to think that he's going to be any good. Everybody thinks they're like, oh, he can't hit at all. But for whatever reason, I think because he graded out so well in a small sample on defense, playing shortstop and third base, ZiPS thinks that he's going to be able to be a fairly productive big leaguer, close to average big leaguer. So I'll be very fascinated to see how that plays out. If he gets enough playing time, if he plays ahead of Maton and Verling or whoever else. I think Matthew just wrote a piece today about all the third base options there. So that fascinates me. And the other one is just the sheer number of nobodies who are projected for more WAR than Miguel Cabrera. Like retired players and guys in like high A and stuff like that. It's just kind of a bummer.